I think the 2025 season was kind of the time where this kind of took off for me and where it became more of a thing in my life. And I started having to post a lot and lot more because I started gaining the following. So when you gain the following, you kind of have to deliver. So I had to spend a lot more time watching baseball this year. I watched all 162 Mets games and I had to because it was like I need it for content.
When I got the email that it was like approved NBA credential, I started bawling my eyes out.
People think it's very different, like being on TV versus competing, but there's a lot of thinking on your feet quickly.
Journalism will survive in some form or another, and it needs people to be dedicated to it, and I'm there for that.
If I had to say something to, me 3 years ago, 4 years ago, before I started this whole journey, it would be just to take the risks.
My favorite quote that I always say all the time is, the answer is always no unless you try.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Holden's Conversations. Today's guest is someone I wanted to have on the podcast, not just because her father is a New York Mets legend, but because when I watch her content, it's very genuine, enthusiastic, and naturally positive. Her father is John Franco, a New York Mets legend, and is in the New York Mets Hall of Fame. But Ella Franco is also creating her own space in the MLB world with nearly 30,000 followers on TikTok, a growing Twitter presence, doing fun Q&As with her father about his MLB experience, and just sharing her perspectives on everything that's going on in baseball and why she loves it so much. Ella, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
I'm really happy to hear that. My first question for you is, where did your content journey start? Was it like, content is fun, so I want to do it? Was it, oh, I have so many great stories to tell considering who I am and who my father is? Or something in the middle?
Yeah. So I feel like it was like a long accumulation of things. I think the first ever video, like baseball related video I posted was actually like 3 years ago. I was going into my freshman year of college and now I'm a senior, so it was a long time ago. And I had an idea and I was telling my dad, I was like, hey, because my dad gets a lot of like his old baseball cards in the mail and like we look through them and I'm like, it's really amazing how like you can see how much he's grown like over time in his career through the baseball cards. So I was like, this is really cool. What if we like found a baseball card from each year and we like put them like together and we like made like a montage of it. That was the first ever like baseball related video I posted and it got like super crazy like views. It had like I think like almost like 3 million views and then Tops ended up picking it up and like reposting it. And so that was kind of the first ever baseball thing I posted. But I wouldn't say I started consistently posting about baseball until like the 2024 Mets season. That was a very like interesting season. So I had a lot of things to say, I had a lot of things to share. So I started off there and then especially when they made the deep playoff run, I just started doing more and more. And then now in the 2025 season, it's kind of been my sole focus on like on all the media platforms I'm on and I've gained a lot of following, a lot more than I ever thought I would. And I started doing a lot more things. I started finding ways to incorporate my dad into more things, but also at the same time, keeping my own stuff and doing my own thing at the same time. So yeah, it's been a little bit of a long awaited journey, but here we are.
Is it weird that there was no calculation into getting all those views or those followers, or it just happened? Was it like you have a day where you woke up and you're like, whoa, I have 800 more followers than I did 12 hours ago? Were there ever weird moments like that?
Yeah, because I think especially with TikTok, like which is my main platform, like it's very random sometimes which videos like get like pushed more. So sometimes I will like fully post a video and it's like I don't expect it to do like not like amazing, but like I don't expect it to like get like every time I post something a lot of views because it varies. But sometimes some of them do like a lot more than others. And I'm like, so sometimes it's very random. And I'm like, wow, like this video has a lot more views than I didn't expect it. So it's really nice, like though, because I think for me, like I really enjoy making like content for baseball because I obviously like I love baseball and I know everyone that follows me loves baseball. So it's just a nice way to like connect with the people that follow me, and also a lot of people that follow me also watch my dad play, so I think for them it's kind of like a way to connect more with him. So it's really nice.
And also, and I'm a Yankees fan, full disclosure.
Okay.
No beef, but
No
I'm a
beef.
Yankees fan, and I just interned at SNY. Mets fans are culty too. So that probably has to help you as well, where it's like, oh my God,
Yeah.
John Franco's daughter is making content. That has to help you tenfold as well, just because of who the Mets fans are. That's not saying that other fan bases aren't as passionate, but Mets
Yeah.
fans are a different breed. You would
I
know
think
a million times better
I
than I would.
No, I totally get it. I think Mets fans definitely like are a very passionate group of people, especially considering like I always say like you can't be a bandwagon as a Mets fan. Like there's no like you can't be a bandwagon because this has historically been like everyone who is a Mets fan knows like this has been a team that I think oftentimes like we haven't seen as much success, and but at the same time regardless of that we still love the team, so it's really impossible to be a bandwagon if you're a Mets fan. But they're a very passionate group of people regardless and love the team, always supporting the team, whether they're doing good, whether they're doing bad. Like I have so much love for them and for the amount of love that they've shown me, but also for how much appreciation they've shown my dad, my family, and everyone. So yeah.
And also another thing too is when you're a Mets fan, you're also probably a Jets fan too, which makes it even worse. So you have to be
Yeah.
more loyal.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I don't really watch football that much. My dad does. I mean, my dad's like a big like New York sports fan. He just likes everything. But I would say he's a Jets fan, so he does get a lot of disappointment. So
Just like he and many others and many others.
yeah, unfortunately.
How do you make sure, like, obviously you're a college student, how do you make sure that the content that you're making doesn't not only take up your whole day literally,
Mhm.
but also mentally too? I've talked to people who are content creators for their job, and they
Yeah.
talk about how, look, if I don't get enough views on this video, I feel like I have to file for unemployment. Now, obviously, you're a college student,
Yeah.
so you're not a full-time content creator, but how
Right.
do you make sure mentally and literally you don't let the content world, especially on Twitter because of how crazy of a place that is, uh
Yeah.
like not absorb you?
Hmm. I think it definitely, I found ways to have a balance. I mean, for me, like school is like finishing school right now is like probably like my biggest priority. But whenever I have pockets in my day, like that's when I try to like kind of figure out, like especially when the season was happening still, I just whenever I had pockets in my day, film something. I think ideas for me, like which I feel this is very lucky of me that like ideas for me flow really naturally. I get ideas quick and like I can just act on it. Sometimes some people it takes a little longer to think of like an idea, but for me, I think of something. If I have a pocket of time, like I film it. But I think for me, like it's just all about finding a balance. I try not to like get super what is it like absorbed into like especially Twitter. That is a very like more toxic
Kidding.
environment. Whenever I just have like the time in my day, I try and do something related to it and figure out something to post. I don't like feel like I've gotten very overwhelmed by it because I try my best to do a balance.
But also at the same time, one of the reasons why you've got ideas flowing is not just because your father is John Franco, but it's
Mhm.
because you're a passionate baseball fan. You watch
Yeah,
baseball.
of
And I
course.
actually saw you did a video a couple months ago on a recommendation for people who want to get started making MLB
Yeah.
content. You are like a religious MLB fan. So you put
Yeah.
the spot that baseball content ideas are going to flow easily for you.
Yeah, I think like if I told myself last year, because I think like of course like I've always been like a huge baseball fan, but this was the year that I had to devote a lot more time to watching baseball. I mean, I've always been a very like consistent fan. I watch a lot of games with my dad, whether it's on TV, in person, but starting this year, I think the 2025 season was kind of the time where this kind of took off for me and where it became more of a thing in my life, and I started having to post a lot and lot more because I started gaining the following. So when you gain the following, you kind of have to deliver. So I had to spend a lot more time watching baseball this year. I watched all 162 Mets games, and I had to because it was like I need it for content. I need it for things to talk about. I need to be well informed. So I did have to devote a lot more time. But I always like again like I did the best that I could to like multitask that with school. And thankfully a lot of like the baseball season was during summer when I like was not taking classes. So that was I guess like an easier time. But especially like during finals and like last year, like when the season was first starting, it does get a little hard, but I always just try to keep school first. And then if anything, like I go back and like watch like highlights later or something. But I always try to like keep a balance and stuff so it's not like overwhelming or anything.
And I think people appreciate that. I think if
Yeah.
people, it's not just when you say, "Oh, I've watched every Mets game," but people know because,
Yeah.
like, especially with Mets fans, but any sports team,
Yeah.
they're passionate fans know who's paying attention, know who's not,
Hmm.
and I think just the way people talk about things can indicate like how invested.
Totally.
I think people really appreciate that.
Yeah. I totally agree. I mean, it's funny because I think this year too has been like a year where my dad and I have grown a lot closer too because even like when we don't go to games in person, like in the summer especially, we were watching a lot of games together at home. And he's taught me like everything I know. Like everything I know about the team, about the sport, like I is through him. And it's always funny to me because I'll get sometimes people being like, you're always gonna get like that one person that like wants to hate and make comments and be like, oh, like you don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, I have a primary source at home. Like this is from him. Like who are you to say that? Because like he's the one who actually spent 20 years doing this and like I'm just relaying that information that like he's given me everything he's taught me is me relaying that to you guys. So like actually I do know what I'm talking about.
You learn through osmosis.
Yeah.
How do you manage that hate? Like when you see that, how are you able to brush it off? Especially because you're a woman in a
Hmm.
primarily male dominant media space.
Yeah. I think when I was younger, like back when I like didn't do social media at all, like I think seeing a lot of hate towards women in sports was something that was like a little bit discouraging. And I know that is still the case for a lot of girls that are like really into sports because not only do you have the fans who are like, oh, like you don't really know what you're talking about, or you'll do the thing like, oh, like name five players kind of thing. Like I think it's discouraging because it makes I think girls sometimes feel like they don't belong as a fan, but also like don't belong in like in it as a career. And there's still a lot of like internal like misogyny too, I think in people who actually work in sports too, like from their own coworkers. So it's definitely I think a hard world to like balance all of that out. But at the same time, it's like for me, I think myself, like I understand what it's like to feel like discouraged by that because I was once in that position. For me, I really think this year doing that, like obviously you get that hate as a woman, but for me, the best like way that I was able to overcome that was to just not care. As hard as it is, like you just have to ignore it and you have to just not care. You have to be yourself because like no one else can like take that from you. And like if you're interested in something, like this is like what you're gonna do. Like I had to tell myself, like, don't care what these people are thinking, don't care what people are gonna say about you. Like if this is what you like and what you enjoy and what you love, like go out there and do it and don't worry about judgment because at the end of the day, it's really just like what matters to you and how it feels to you. If it makes you happy, just do it and ignore the people that want to hate on you because at the end of the day, they're the ones taking their time out of their day to make a mean comment. And like to me that's like weird if you're going to go out and make a mean comment about someone. Like I would never take the time out of my day to do that. So I don't really understand what that's like, but
Well,
yeah.
not only are they like you're making content, you're trying, and they are
Yeah,
judging.
exactly. So
How do you not only say, "Oh, I'm not going to care," but actually do that? Because I think there's a difference sometimes,
yeah.
just in general, when you're trying to ignore things or trying to stay present.
Hmm.
Like I know I shouldn't do this, but you still end up
Yeah,
subconsciously doing that.
of
How do
course.
you really actually not care?
Yeah, I still find myself at times like if I get something that's like a rude comment, like I do find myself sometimes like I feel it like it hurts because obviously like I'm a human being, I'm
Yeah.
gonna have feelings. Um, but it's like I don't let that discourage me from continuing. If like I'll let myself feel it if it makes me feel bad, like I'll let myself feel it. Um, but at the same time, like I tell myself like you just have to move on. Like these people are irrelevant to what you're doing. Like they if they want to come on here, and I get people too like that will come back that don't follow me, but like will still come to my page just to say stuff. And I'm like, see, like you're taking the time out of your day to do something that like is like kind of irrelevant. But
For someone they
like
don't know, by the way, they don't know you.
yeah, I don't know you. Like saying you're taking the time out of your day. You don't even follow me, but you're taking the time out of your day to come and spread hate. And like to me, as hard as it is to like kind of have like I would say personally, like I don't experience it that much, which I'm very thankful for. And I think part of that does come from the fact that like I do a lot of stuff with my dad. So a lot of people respect him and respect me because of that. But I know there are a lot of other girls that do sports like content that face it a lot more and like on the daily. And I feel for them because I really wish like that wasn't the like world that we live in, but it is. And even the times that I get it, I just have to tell myself like these people are irrelevant. Like don't let it discourage you from what you're doing. Like you like doing this, you love doing this. Like this is a passion you have, and don't let them take that away from you because at the end of the day, they're irrelevant. Like they don't know you. They're through a screen. Like you're the one actually doing something. So I think that's how I kind of manage actually not caring and just keeping like pushing forward.
Yeah, because it can definitely just be hard to actualize that action. The flip
Totally. Yeah.
too, which I think is really cool for you, is that obviously you make content with your dad. Like when you
Mhm.
guys reacted to Miguel Rojas's home run,
Oh my God.
Kevin, I know that went viral.
That was a crazy time. Like that was a
That was
crazy
literally
time.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I know. Because I think we wanted the Blue Jays to win, because of Don Mattingly. Like my dad, like knows him, so he really wanted that for him. Um, but we were sitting there, and I actually was like, oh, like the Blue Jays are about to win the World Series. I was like, this is awesome. Like, let me record my reaction. And then the home run happens, and I was like, oh, like, all right, like this is an insane video. Because I was like, I just think our reactions were so like in shock because we're not Blue Jays or Dodgers fans. So I think if we were like a Blue Jays fan or a Dodgers fan, our reaction would have been a lot like larger. But we're not a fan of either team. So it was just more like just like pure shock of like what was going
Game 7 of the World Series, top of the ninth inning.
yeah, like it was I was sitting there and I was just like genuinely like I didn't even know what to say.
No, but also for you too, though.
Hmm.
You make content that isn't with your dad that does very well, whether it's
Yeah.
explaining things about the MLB
Hmm.
or a video of Jalen Brunson with his kids. You have, for a lot of
Yeah.
people who say, "Oh, your content is nepotism." You do a lot of content that has nothing to do with your father that
Yeah.
does very well. Like, what does that do for
Yeah.
you?
I think because for me, I've always said like I like making content with my dad. I enjoy it. People enjoy it, but at the same time, like I also want to do my own thing. I want to be my own person, and with that like comes me having to like do stuff on my own and figure out ways to like kind of capitalize off that. And I think I will say like I'm very like happy that I was able to kind of start doing a lot of stuff with my dad. And now I can kind of use that to like I guess leverage myself in a way and like figure out ways to incorporate my own stuff in it, which I have been doing. And it's been great because people have really, I think, appreciated that kind of like that knowledge. And I'm glad that people have appreciated it because that's all I want for me is like I want to serve the people that follow me, because they follow me for a reason. They want to know about baseball, they want to see things about baseball. And I myself, like I think it would be different if I would make content with my dad, but like I actually wasn't a passionate baseball fan. I think that's what separates the line is me making content with my dad because I'm a passionate baseball fan, but also making my own content because I'm a passionate baseball fan. I feel like if I made content with him and wasn't really a passionate baseball fan and then did other stuff, like it wouldn't really balance out. But I think because of that separator, because I myself am a huge baseball fan, I think that's where I get to add in my own sense into my own content and do stuff on my own. So I think that's what the separator is.
Well, and also, no matter what content you're making, if you have almost 30,000 followers on any
Hmm.
platform, people don't just want to know about the content, they want to know who you are. And so
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
important for anyone with that type of following who feels a level of responsibility to their followers like you do to
Yeah.
like kind of, peel back the curtain a little bit where so they
Yeah.
can feel
Totally.
like,
Totally.
I am Ella Franco. I'm not just this robot. Like I'm a human too.
Yeah.
Place
Exactly.
like social media that can be very disingenuous.
Yeah, I think that for me has like been why I wanted to do this because I was and like why I wanted to do my own stuff because I was like I don't want people to think like I just do one thing and
Yeah.
I do and like I love making content with my dad and my dad loves it too as much as he like won't admit it like he likes it like he likes enjoys it but I don't want it to be one thing. Like I also want to be my own person and I want to do my own thing and I want people to appreciate that and I want to serve the people that follow me because of that. Like it's not just like, oh, like let's make content with my dad like and I love doing that and I still do that and I'll always do that. But at the same time, I always want to incorporate my own stuff in there so that way people understand who I am and that who I am is not just like one thing, which
Yeah.
is like attached to my dad. I myself am my own person.
And also the more you're in the space, the more
Yeah.
you know how to utilize what you know, your
Hmm.
personality. Because you just get a
Totally.
little more of a feel of it, and then also it helps when you've got more eyeballs watching you at the same time.
Yeah, of course. I've learned a lot more along the way. Like I think if you told me like last year that like this is what I'm doing, like I would kind of be like, wait, really? Like I because I never really like envisioned myself like actually like being so involved with sports and like on social media. And I mean life is crazy. Like life has like we don't know like our plan for us. So it's amazing to kind of see how it folds out and like how you envision your life is gonna go is not exactly how it's gonna go. And like here I am a year later and like I'm doing this and I love it and enjoy it. So yeah, it's great.
And then at the same time, too, it's this idea that look, when you throw darts on the wall, you never know what's going to happen. If you do
Yeah.
nothing, usually nothing happens. But when you throw darts on the wall, when you put yourself out there, you never know
Hmm.
what's going to happen.
Exactly.
You might wake up to a million views on something.
Yeah, and like I always say, like it's like I just like personally, I always just gonna go out there and be myself and post whatever I want. And now obviously I have more of a following to leverage that. But even when I was like just getting started with things like earlier last year, like I'd always just like told myself like you just kind of have to put yourself out there because you don't know what's gonna happen. And people are gonna like there's going to be people that will appreciate it and it might take time, but like eventually it's gonna happen.
How do you think your social media skills and posting content, actually help you when you're in your everyday life when the camera's not on?
Mm. I honestly feel like I would say for one, because you spend a lot of time for me, like when I talk about games, I do breakdowns, or if I talk about like opinions and stuff, you spend a lot of time talking. Like I like sit and like I'm just like talking. Um, so I think for me, like I try not to do that really scripted. I try to let that like be just my thoughts flowing. And the more you do that, I think it honestly helps like in real life, especially when like I'm in class and like I have to like answer a question maybe like on the spot or something like that. Honestly, like it just you kind of get into like the flow state a little bit and that for me I think has helped me a little bit in terms of like my conversations, whether it's like academic or even just like with random people. Um but I just think it brings such a creative like aspect to your life that I think just helps you see a lot of things differently. I don't really know how to describe it, but I just definitely think it does impact kind of how you organize, how you think, your conversation. Like I just think it has a lot of like positives.
Do you think it helps you be more relatable in a lot of ways too? Because I hear that a lot as well, where when you're forced to put yourself out there more, you have
Mhm.
to be more comfortable in your own skin.
Yeah, and I think, well, that's kind of the thing. I think I see a lot of comments when people are on my page. I see a lot of comments of people saying like they enjoy like what I do and whenever I do like make content with my dad like they enjoy that also and they always say like you always bring such a unique and interesting perspective and I honestly think for me it's because a lot of people forget I think with when I make stuff with my dad like I want people to see the human side of that like I think it's really easy for people especially who watch sports but really anyone who's like a fan of like any person that's famous. I think it's very easy for fans to like idolize and like see like I guess athletes as not really like people. I see them more as just like these people that go out and they're famous and they go out and play the sport and they kind of forget that there's like a human side to them. And I always say, like, when I do these videos with my dad, like, I want people to understand that. And I want them to see he's just a normal guy like everyone else. Like
Yeah.
he has a family, he has interests, he has passions, like he does everything that like a normal person would do. And that's what I want people to kind of understand when I do stuff too. Like I want people to see that side of me too. Like I'm just like them. I'm a fan who just sits in front of the camera and like sometimes talks about baseball. Like it's I'm the same as you. Like I think that in a sense, like when you're talking about like being relatable, I think it 100% it helps when your content is genuine and when you present yourself as genuine and when you kind of show the more human side of yourself, like I think people relate to that and people want to see more of that rather than like just the like surface level stuff.
Talk to me kind of about you and your father's content process. And what I mean by that is, I'm assuming it's mostly you, of course, but
Yeah.
you're like
Um,
screenshotting, like I know you screenshotted a text you and your father had recently about
mhm.
baseball. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And obviously you guys' reaction to Game 7 of the World Series or
Yeah.
explaining the ABS system, the
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
automatic ball strike system. What is that kind of, what's that process?
I would say so all of my ideas, like obviously are mine, and I bring it to him and I'd be like, what do you think about this? I will say a couple times he's had his own ideas. Like he literally told me like he was like, oh, we should do a video of me like explaining like my pitch grips and stuff. And I was like, oh, perfect. Like that's awesome. Like I would do that. But I would say the majority of the time, like it is me kind of broaching the idea to him. I tell him kind of what I think would be cool. Sometimes he's like I don't know if I want to do that, but then he does it anyway and he enjoys it. So like my dad and I have always been very close. So like it's always I'd say just what we do now is just kind of a reflection like of the close relationship that we have. So it's really easy. Like he doesn't like give me a hard time with anything. Like I bring an idea to him, we film it, and then like that's just kind of it. I would say it's very easy and I wouldn't like say there's anything like complicated about it. But yeah, I'm always kind of the one majority of the time bringing the idea to him and then we film it and stuff. And sometimes, like we made this one video where like we had like our mics and like stuff and we were like doing a conversation about like where he learned his change up from and like he kept messing up a couple times and it was funny because like you kind of just like have to laugh and stuff.
Yeah.
So I would say the majority of the time it's all in fun. It's all in just like enjoyment and like joy and not anything that's like, all right, we're gonna sit here and we're gonna do this and we're gonna film it and be done and like not enjoy it. Like I would say everything that we've done together is like we've made it fun and we've enjoyed it because it's funny. The process is funny. Process is like makes us happy. Like we get to talk about things we like and it's not like out of obligation to like feel like we have to make something. We like actually enjoy doing it.
The goal remains to have a good time.
Exactly. It's always about having a good time.
Are there ever any audios or uh, imitations or dances you tell your father, hey, let's do this, and he's like, absolutely not?
There was one thing I did with him. It was to like a Dance Moms like audio. And it was like when the postseason started, me and him at the time were like rooting for a bunch of different teams and we were kind of like against each other. Like I think he wanted the Dodgers for something earlier and like I wanted the Mariners like for whatever. I know they like never played each other, but I think when the Phillies and Dodgers were playing, like I wanted the Dodgers. Not that I wanted the Dodgers to win the like World Series, but I wanted the Dodgers like and I think he wanted the Phillies. Like I don't really know. Like we just like kind of like had our little rivalries during this postseason. And I was like, oh, this would be funny if we like made like a video like pretending to argue. And I like showed him the audio that like people use. It's like a common audio on TikTok with like I think it's like Abby and one of the moms like arguing with each other. And he was like, I'm not doing this. And I was like, please, like it would be so funny. And he was like, okay, fine. So we ended up doing it and he ended up getting so into the acting and like people would like notice that. They were like, he should be an actor. Like they're like, he's so into it. Like he did his part really well. And that's what I'm saying. Like he sometimes even when he's like a little reluctant about it, like he ends up doing it and like enjoys it. So that's kind of one thing. But I would say, yeah, that's probably like one example of a time where he was like at first like, I'm not doing this. And then he came on and really enjoyed it.
I have to ask though, you said something very alarming. Why is someone from New York or a New York sports fan ever rooting for anything Philadelphia?
That's what I said. I literally was like, what do you mean, Philly? Like, I was like, that makes no sense. And like the Dodgers actually drafted my dad. So I was like, you would think there would be some kind of like loyalty to them there. But I think because he wanted to see someone different. So that was to him, like the Dodgers won last year. So I think at first he was like, I just like want to see someone else win. But I was like, this is your division rival. Like, why would you ever say that?
It's so funny. Just a couple
Yeah.
more questions here. Where do you see your content going? Obviously, you said that you were surprised if someone told you what was going on 12 months ago, you would be floored. Where do you see this going for you? Do you want to make this a career? Obviously, you're still in college. What do you want this to be a part of your life?
I think it's always going to be a part of my life now. Like it's I just not something I feel like I personally like could abandon. Especially because I enjoy it so much, but also because like I feel like not like I have to like I kind of want to serve these people. Like I enjoy it, so I don't want to leave it behind. And I feel like I've made something with it, so I would want to continue with it. Um, I've thought about careers in sports. I also just like based on like my own like academic stuff, like I've also thought about like law. So I've kind of like
God, they're like two different worlds right there.
very, very different. But for me, like I've always said, like I think the fact that I've gotten so passionate about sports in the last, I'd say like obviously I've always been, but especially in the last year because of the content. And because the content picked up so much more than I thought, like I always say, like it almost just feels like this was like kind of like my purpose and like my calling, like as not to get like super like whatever, but I always just like kind of feel like the fact that that came into my life at a time that like I least expected it and never expected it just kind of to it kind of means something to me a little bit. So I always say like maybe this was what I was like my purpose and what I was always kind of like meant to pursue. Um I would enjoy a career in sports, whether that's actually like being in the sports world or whether that's doing something myself through like content creation. I don't know exactly which way I'd want to go because either way though I'd want to be as involved as possible. And either way, regardless of like if I'm working in like within like if I'm working with a team or with the league, I always want to keep my own stuff. Like I think that is always to me like I always want to do my own stuff. I want that to be what I get to keep as part of me and like because that's kind of will always be like where I started and I'll always want to like keep doing that.
And you can always do that, which I think is like we always talk
Yeah.
about, like as a society, we always talk about the bad things about social media. It's so cool that all you need is this thing. For
Yeah,
anyone who's listening to this, I'm holding up my phone. All you need is a phone and you can make whatever you want.
totally.
You
And
don't need to be hired by anyone or anything.
exactly. And that's kind of the beauty of it is like if I like have an idea, okay, just pick up my phone and do it. And yeah, but I think regardless, like I've always considered like working in sports and I would totally do it. But I think in whatever I do, I always want to like stay true to myself and stay true to like kind of where I started and where I began. And I'll always want to make videos. Any kind of video that I make now, like I will want to continue doing and like continue with the same like trajectory that I'm on. So yeah, I would enjoy that.
This is my last question, and this is the one that is going to be my first sponsored segment on my podcast. I say that every episode. I'm trying to manifest it, as people say. What is a piece of advice that you would give to yourself when you started your content journey that you know now?
Um, I would say I think kind of like what we talked about earlier. Like just don't like be afraid to be yourself. I think that's the scariest part, especially because social media is so like it's accessible to everyone. Like anyone can see your stuff. And that at the same time means anyone can say anything they want. And I think that's what kind of turns a lot of people away too, is because they get scared of what other people are going to think of them. And I've been very lucky to have very minimal hate, but like obviously you get every now and then someone that's going to be that. Like I said, I just would tell myself early not to be discouraged by that, just to continue doing this because like you enjoy it, it's something you love, and to not let anyone take that away from you. And I would also say like just enjoy it because I think it's fun. It shouldn't be something that's stressful. And like you worry about like what you want to make, like what people are gonna say. Like this is all meant to be, and like for me, all of this has been in fun. And I think early on, it kind of was easy to get like into this like, oh, like I have to be a certain way. I have to like know everything. Like you don't have to know everything because it's a learning process. Like this is going to be, I would say like when I started off, like I didn't know much like about like the content creation process, but now I've learned so much more. Like you don't need to go into it knowing everything. You kind of learn as you go, and you learn how to be better as you go along. And I think that goes for like any job. Like if you start off in a job and it's, you know, your first time doing it, you're gonna feel a little lost at first. But as you keep going, you're gonna learn like your responsibilities. You're gonna learn how to use certain things, do certain things better. And that's kind of the same thing with like making content. I think you go into it not really knowing what it's gonna be like, and as much as like people kind of feel like it's probably simple, it's honestly not as simple as people would assume. But yeah, you're gonna learn a lot more as you go, and like just to not be like afraid of like not know of like the unknown, if that makes sense. So that would be the advice I give myself.
It's only simple if you're not trying. When you're trying, you
Yeah,
realize how hard it is.
exactly.
You want to drop your socials?
Oh, yes. Okay. On Twitter, I think, or X, whatever we're calling it.
Twitter. I call it
I
Twitter.
think it's Ella Franco and then underscore. And then my TikTok handle, I honestly don't know where this name came from, but I'm pretty sure if you just search up Ella Franco, I'll come up. But the username is in my elements, but Ella, like Ella and then meant. So to like, you know, my name and then an underscore. So that would be my two socials that I post morely about baseball on those two. So yeah.
Thank you all for watching another episode of Holden's Conversations, but thank you, Ella, for joining me.
Thank you.
Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you don't miss the latest from Holden's Conversations. Until next time.